Hello everyone, welcome to a brand new edition of Hue at Home. And today it's a story about life, but it's also a story about triumph. And we'll learn more, and I'm like you, I'm going to be learning about this young woman for the first time too as well. So I'd love to welcome Sarah Wohlgemuth here to Hue at Home.
Thank
you. Yeah, you're a guinea pig, or I'm the guinea pig here. Because you come through another acquaintance, Ali Raposo, and we all love Ali, and she was so passionate when she spoke of you, and I said, at the drop of a hat, I was like sending the email to you.
Totally.
You probably thought this crazy woman is just like constantly, but I'm so happy that you could make it.
Yeah.
And we're always, and here's the thing, before we even hear your story, when we know that someone has gone through probably traumatic experiences and then come back at the other end of it, we're all, and I hate to use the word, but gawkers. Like like when you drive by a car crash, we just,
totally.
You don't want to look,
Right.
but you look.
You do, yeah.
You don't want to hear it, but you want to hear it. And, you know, yes, I want to share your story, but more than that today, Sarah, if we can really come to some sort of, I guess, not agreement to, but I guess a way to move forward.
Right.
To take action, folks. So you're going to listen to Sarah's story right now, but we're also going to talk about not only how she has overcome, but how you can overcome, right?
Yes.
And
yes,
I think that way your story is even more impactful.
Yeah, I agreed.
Okay, so without further ado, a little bit of drama,
I love it. No, it's so true, Tracy. I feel like there, as we share, or I share often about, we can either get stuck in our story or we get to rewrite our story. And that is a huge why I am so, willing to share and to use my voice is really because, there's a saying by Morgan Harper Nichols, and it says, be willing to tell others how you climbed your mountain, because that could become a page in someone else's survival guide one day.
Wow.
And to me, that just speaks to me that, if I'm going to have to walk through the fucking hell that I've had to walk through, and we all have a story.
Yes.
But I am unwilling to allow it to just stay inside if it can help another brother or sister on their journey, right? If they're 2 steps behind me on the road and I can reach back and say, I was just 2 steps there a couple days, let me help you, then I'm willing to share. And so yeah, it's always like, okay, so where to start? What I would want to ask actually the listeners, I want to ask a question to the listeners. If I would come to you and say, hey, Tracy, hey, who's ever listening, how many of you would love to have a deeply passionate, fiery, intense, connected, beautiful, on fire relationship? How many of us would give a heck yeah, I'm in, right? I am one. And what I realized, not long ago was that intense fire, connected, passionate relationship begins with me. Me with me. I get to have that relationship first with me. And once I get to have that relationship with me, then everything else, my significant other, the passion, the fire, everything gets to also transition into that. It wasn't long ago it was around 2014 where my marriage completely exploded. And, I'm not going to actually go into the marriage story. That'll be another story. But with many miracles, our marriage exploded from betrayal on both sides, hidden addictions, there was lies. It was a mess. And we had a lot of just really brokenness where we just said enough's enough. We gave up, and my husband and I started our own healing journeys on our own individual roads. And so much so that, for a while it was like, we're done, like this is it. But so much so that the intense work that we both decided to do on our own selves ended up bringing us back into this incredibly beautiful marriage that is so much more intense and passionate and amazing. We're year 16 now. That was year 7 when it exploded. You know, and we had a lot of crap to deal with in our own stuff. And see, what happened though is after our marriage was just miraculously, you know, healed and brought back together, there was this piece inside of me, Tracy, where I struggled with, and I know, because I've had so many people share with me, it's that place of intimacy within the relationship. Now, what is intimacy? Intimacy, I've heard this before, maybe you've heard it, it's into me you see. Intimacy, into me you see. And, you know, I remember, if I'm getting real and completely going there was times when I would be being intimate with my husband, who I love, who is a good man, who I've, you know, healed and find attractive, but I would be in these places of intimacy with him, crying and not being able to feel any sort of connection in my body, nothing. I could not connect with him in any way. I didn't desire him. I had no... But yet I loved him, and it wasn't within me. I couldn't connect to him, and I just remember crying sometimes, being like, I know I adore him. He's so attractive to me, but I could not feel this deep passion that that we're all meant for. And, you know, Tracy, it wasn't until I all of a sudden had this aha moment that I could not connect with him because I was not able to connect with me. I had carried this woundedness inside myself for years. You know, 15 years ago at this point when I'm in this moment, at age 18 I had been raped. And then I had been in a very abusive relationship, emotionally, physically. And what, you know, a lot of times when trauma happens to us, the brain is neurobiologically wired to have to make sense of it. Why did this happen? And when people do things to us, it is a senseless act. It does not make sense. This world was not designed for another human being to hurt another human being. And so when there is something that is so traumatic that has happened to you, and it doesn't make sense, the brain is scrambling, why? And unfortunately, and so devastatingly, it lands back on us so many times. And so I turned that story of why I was raped onto me. It was, I must have done this, I shouldn't have done that, I should have known better. And I created this cycle of self-sabotage now into my life, from putting myself then in an abusive relationship and staying in this cycle of abuse and believing that that's all I got in life, that that's all I was worth in life. And, you know, so fast forward to having this just devastation of not being able to connect with my husband, like what is wrong? And I just had this picture. You know, I have a deep faith and I believe God like puts just pictures in my head for me to have my aha moments, thankfully, because I can't come up with some of this, but it really helped me heal, is that he kind of showed me that 15 years ago when I had been raped, what happens is there's times in our life where wounds of our past, essentially, if we take it to the literal sense, is like bullets lodged inside. And so if I literally had got shot, okay, like let's just play imagination, I had actually got shot 15 years ago, and I left that bullet lodged inside. And what I did is I took like a little finger bandage, essentially put it over that bullet, pulled my shirt down and was like, I'm fine. Like, no, I got this, I'm okay. And I never reached out for help. And I carried this bullet inside. Now, if we're literally playing imagination, what happens to our bodies if we kept a bullet inside as I am carrying on with my life? Complete poison. Yes. My blood, every part of my body is starting to just break down. It's poisoning everything. And so I just had this aha moment of, oh my goodness, I've been walking around for years with these bullets lodged inside my heart, my mind, my soul, never going to the right places to have it dealt with, never, pulling up my shirt and saying, I need some help here. Like this happened to me. And a lot of times what we do is we compare our wounds to others and diminish that ours deserve taking care of. So, for years I would just say, well, it was my fault. I shouldn't have done this. I should have known better there. And so I ignored the fact that it was there. And also I would say, but also like, I know about my best friend. I know what happened to her. She had like 10 bullet wounds. Like I don't deserve attention. She does, not me. Yeah. And so I would diminish that I had any wounds inside that needed, I just didn't feel that I was worthy. And when I had this aha of, wow, I have been walking around with bullets inside, and no wonder my body is physically breaking down. There's no connection. I have not been connected to myself for years, never mind trying to connect with a significant other. And just having that realization was really, really incredible. You know, I really do believe our bodies, minds, and souls, and God, I do believe, brings organically stuff up to the surface when we're in a place of being able to deal with it. And see, as I said, my marriage had exploded, yes, but this was a year or so after, we were in an incredibly beautiful place. I was safe in my relationship with God. I was feeling safe in my relationship with my husband. And so organically, it's like my body was like, okay, Sarah, like you're in a good place now. You're going to be able to handle dealing with what you need to deal with. And that is the reality, that you were raped and it wasn't your fault, and you need to face that. And you were in an abusive relationship, and you caused that self-sabotage. We need to deal with the wounds and have them properly taken care of, so it's the proper bandages, so it can now have the scar tissue. Scar tissue is stronger than skin, right?
Yes.
And it's like those scars that we have, if we go to the right places and go to the right people and not expose is not a negative, but expose to the right in the safe environments of getting help. And so I really started to go there. You know, there's a saying called that I heard, and I use it a lot in my course too: face it, feel it, heal it. And I was finally at the place of, okay, I need to face what happened to me, because until I face it, I can't feel it, and until I feel it, I can't heal it. And so I began this journey of facing it, feeling it, and healing it. I wrote letters, just to myself. You know, I allowed the anger towards myself out by writing letters like, "Dear Sarah, I'm angry at you for," and wow, the stuff that came out of me, I was like, I've been carrying this inside for so long. You know, I went to therapy, I went to groups, I reached out to my mentor, I started to pull people in. I pulled God in, I pulled my husband in, and just said, like, this is my journey, this is what I'm going through. And for a while, it was crazy hard. Because when you think of, if you would have a wound and you take the bandage off and now you're like, I need cleaning here. For a while, it's extra exposed, and you're actually extra irritable, and you're extra, oh my God, right? Because it hurts. You're cleaning it out. And so, you know, it does get a little bit worse before it gets better, but when it gets better, oh my gosh, Tracy, like the freedom to finally be able to heal and have it begin to scar over, and to begin to just be like, that doesn't cause me pain anymore. It's healed over. And I actually start to develop this love affair with myself, of rather than the anger and the self-sabotage and the hate and all the things I had carried inside, I get to stand and look at myself and be like, oh my gosh, Sarah, you are breathtaking. When are we able to get up in the morning and be like, oh, you are breathtaking when you look at yourself in the mirror? Like, how many of us carry this, like, I call it the rackets inside our heads, those voices that are like, who do you think you are? You can't do that. You need to lose 2 more pounds. All these things, those are rackets. Loud, they're loud, they're loud. We get to be louder than the rackets. Like, we get to take our stand in who we are and say, like, I don't need to listen to those rackets anymore. I am a powerful, beautiful, incredible, you know, human being who has been created to make a difference, to, you know, to have the life I want, to have the dreams. And none of that story, the story that we were stuck in, gets to be rewritten. We get to rewrite our stories. I get to create this incredible, beautiful, you know, passionate, I have to laugh with passion, because once I was able to heal those areas and begin this love affair with myself, I began to have this amazing freedom with my husband that I'd never been able to have. The triggers were gone, all the things were gone. And we went to, you know, we're 16 years married now, our kids are teens, and we went to a movie, and all of a sudden, I don't know whose idea it was, but we're like, do you want to go make out in the backseat of our car? And he's like, yeah. And we like felt like little teenagers, like, we're like, where are we going to go? So we like drove around the neighborhood. We're like, well, no, what, people are going to see us there. Okay, like right here. So we like parked, and then we both got out of the front seat, went into the back, and I mean, we're in our 40s, or just here we are climbing into the back seat and having a good makeout session before we went to the movie. And I was like, oh my word, I could have never seen myself being free in this area, you know, after all the years of crying, wanting to desire him, and just not being able to connect, to being able to climb into the back seat and make out and feel like teenagers and all the things, right?
Oh my goodness.
You know, what I really my passion is to inspire and instill every brother and sister to go on that great love affair back towards themselves first, and to know that no matter what you've come through, no matter the stories, you get to rewrite that, and you actually can be free and have hope in those places you thought there was no hope. I'm a testimony to that, like the things that I came through, to the marriage that that exploded and came back together, and recently we did a 30-day intimacy challenge. And we succeeded. Heck yeah, we did. Yeah, so just inspiring people that it does not matter. There is steps you can take. I take people through. It's called You Unleashed, and it's just incredibly powerful. Step by step to take you back to that fiery love affair with yourself.
Okay, so we're going to leave it right there. So that's just a teaser. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we'll have Sarah talk about how to unleash your inner self. So don't go away. You're watching Hue at Home.
Girl, you know what's up. Ooh, say what, say what, say what. Girl, you know what's up. Ooh, say what, say what, say what. So tell me what's up. I'm feeling you. I'm feeling you. Girl, you know what's up. Say I'm feeling you. And I'm more than you. So tell me what's up.
Welcome back to Hue at Home. My guest is Sarah Wogemuth. And Sarah, now you talked about your very tragic and traumatic history, being raped, going through abusive relationship, a marriage that crumbled, but now has miraculously come back together. How you've done it. Now, the Sarah 2.0, I'm going to say, today, what are you doing? And how now are you taking everything that you've learned and bring it out to the rest of us?
Yes. That's where, I'm so passionate, first to speak, to give a voice to those who feel they are not able to yet, to give hope, right? To instill that. So that's where I'm starting to just push, I'm going to speak as loud as I can, for those that are, not able to yet. I have a saying, let your voice be louder than the shame. And I really my passion now is to share and speak and take people through. So as you asked, I have a course called You Unleashed. And what is that? You Unleashed, to me, when I think of the word unleashed, I just think of complete freedom. Like all the things that held you back, all unrestrained, unstoppable, just like you, I love it, you times two, just owning your power. And being totally free from those areas, unstuck and just ready for life, and unleashing into that love affair with yourself first. Some of the most powerful, some of the steps that I take people through. One is really, step one is rewind and unwind, and so that's going back into from when we're born to age 7. Is a very formative years in our life where we're developing the filter system and our belief systems and all the things. And just really taking people into the awareness of, have you heard of the 5 love languages before?
No.
Oh, the 5 love languages, part of the course I take people through, but I'll share a little bit too, because it's not my idea, it's just so powerful. Gary Chapman coined the 5 love languages. He's written countless books within marriage, for with your kids, in your within yourself. So what it is, the 5 love languages, he says that every one of us has, there's 5 love languages, we all speak one of them very loudly. And what it is there's physical touch, there is acts of service. So Tracy, what can I do for you to help you? There's words of affirmation. Oh my gosh, Tracy, amazing. You're keep going, right? There is quality time. So if I'm going to express my love language to you, I'm going to say, I want to go hang out. Let's do a coffee, right? Yeah. Or quality time, acts of service, gifts, physical touch. There's one more.
Oh, you didn't mention gifts.
Oh, and gifts.
Yes.
So now I scrambled myself. But anyway, the 5. So what it is we all have one that we're going to speak the loudest, because that is just innately in us. For me, it's quality time. Okay. So I'm going to speak my love language of quality time to the world, thinking that I'm speaking everyone's love language. I'm showing you. So Tracy, your love language might be gifts. The top one, where you feel the most treasured and valued, might be if someone brings you a surprise gift or thinks of you. And so what happens now, if I'm speaking to the world my love language that I think everyone else speaks. So I'm like, Tracy, let's go hang out. And all of our years of friendship, I've only ever spoke my language of let's go hang out and be together. And you're thinking, she's never once given me a gift, and that's like your top love language. It's like, wow, you don't really like me or love me. And so what happens is learning about what is the people in your life's love languages. It's another easy example would be if my mom, imaginary, spoke Spanish, ever spoke Spanish to me, and I could never understand Spanish. I could only understand English. Her whole life, every day in Spanish, she was saying, I love you, Sarah, I love you, Sarah, I love you, Sarah, in Spanish, but I can only hear English. So what will my reality look like if somebody would say, hey, Sarah, did your mom ever say she loved you? I'd be like, no. Well, is that true? No. She did.
Yeah.
But it was in her language.
Exactly.
And so learning about the love languages is so powerful. Is going back, because I came out as a very wounded kid thinking I wasn't being shown love in my life. When I learned about the love languages, I was like, oh my goodness, that's actually not true. My parents were showing me love just in their different love languages, and we didn't have the awareness of who speaks what language. And it was very healing for me in a way. Now, yes, I had to heal the wounds from my past still, of a little girl. I really believe in inner child healing and doing that journey. But rewinding and unwinding and starting to look at all the people, the important people in your life, and start to kind of go through what would their love languages have been? Were they actually speaking it to you when you thought they weren't, and stuff like that? So rewinding, unwinding is very important to me to start there. You start there. You unwind the beliefs that that are no longer serving you, right? The rockets I talked about, you unwind, and then I take people through developing this relationship with yourself where you get to, as I said, look in the mirror and be like, dang, you're breathtaking, wow, I got it. There was this beautiful, it was years ago now, I'm sure, it's been seen worldwide by millions and millions. It was this cute little girl in the mirror. She's gets up and she's on her mom's vanity and she's staring at herself in the mirror, and she's just I don't know, she's a little 5-year-old or something, and she's like, I'm powerful, I'm awesome, and she just starts going, and I rock, and she just is going off at in the mirror to herself, and I'm like, man, that girl is gonna go out and make a change in the world, because she is so on fire with who she is, right? And every one of us, when we become on fire with who we are, the world gets changed around us, our relationships, everything starts to ripple out. And when we cause that effect on people we love, then they're gonna, you start to see, it's just this beautiful ripple effect. And so I'm just so passionate about taking people back on this huge, incredible love affair with themselves, unleashing themselves from the past, not having to believe the stories that we created in our minds, rewriting our stories. And yeah.
So this is so amazing, and I can see the energy, and I can see it in your face, this whole transformation. And I only know the Sarah 2.0. I can't imagine the Sarah 0.1.
So
0.1, I didn't say 1.0.
Right.
But again, I mean, it is a testament. So I guess to wrap things up, Sarah, for you, I'm going to go back to you being raped and the whole self-sabotage, and you learning that you had all of these bullets, you were able to overcome and survive. But there are so many, not only women, there have been, you know, other genders that have been sexually abused or sexually assaulted. It is so stigmatized.
I know.
What is one thing, one nugget of hope that you could give to people watching or listening that maybe have been in situations like you have been, to give them hope? That what's that one thing that you found that could push you through?
That you can heal. You can heal. That it doesn't have to stay lodged inside of you. That, you know, the shame piece of bringing it to the light, you know, shame wants nothing more than to keep you in darkness and isolation. And shame is like the enemy of our souls. Like that shame, that is to keep you small and believing lies about yourself, that you're the only one who's experienced that, or it was your fault, or all the shame pieces. Shame wants to keep you small. And what I would want to instill to anyone is that you get to be louder than the shame. Like you get to speak up and have your own back, for, you know, and go to someone that is a safe space that you can share and bring that shame, like rip it out by its roots. That there is hope and there is healing and it is possible. I am a testimony to that it does not matter what you've went through. There is hope, there is healing, but you must be louder than that shame that tries to keep you down.
Wow.
Yeah.
So many great things. I could go on and on with Sarah, but you know what? Thank you so much for being here and sharing your story.
Absolutely.
And I know that it's going to help people and continue on this path. It is truly amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, Tracy.
And thank you to all of you for joining us today on Hue at Home. We'll see you next time, and make this day the best day ever.